Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is Wednesday, it's the 3rd of December. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. Purely demonstrate how I try to read the market using signal analysis and try to teach you guys a little bit. And I hope I can do that. Let's start what happened yesterday. It was a fairly positive day on the US markets. Nasdaq higher, and it has established this little bit cautious but still bullish trend. We just need a confirmation on the RSI to close above 60 threshold, and if it does that, well, then it will indicate that we will have a fairly bullish market for the rest of the year. So we need RSI to close above 60 threshold, so keep an eye on that. And I think that will play out if we have Nasdaq 100 to close above 25,663, and that could very well maybe happen today. Where we can see pre-market, we are pushing a little bit higher here. We have the Nasdaq future ticking up just a little bit. So let's see. The S&P 500 more or less a little bit positive also yesterday. But we also want that to close above a 60 threshold there on the RSI, and the index to close above 6,870. And then if that plays out, the scenario, if we do close above that, well, 7,000 is very likely to be reached before Christmas. So let's see about that. It's not that far away, but still, it seems like that's what it needs to do. Pre-market taking up just a tad, so let's see if we can do that today, maybe tomorrow. The Russell 2000 set back a little bit. It's the small cap index here, illustrated by the ETF, setting back a little bit, but it's still also, I don't think it close above. No, it didn't close above 60 threshold there, so it also needs to do that. In Asian session this morning, we have Hang Seng setting back 1.3% almost, and it looks a little bit weak, and it's negative sentiment. So let's see, it needs to get back above the peak yesterday, and especially the RSI also needs to get back above 60 threshold. We need to get back above the 55 moving average there. So I would say a little bit on the knife sets, but can't really get up there. To the weaker side, so basically range bound. Really, it's not a clear signal, to be honest. We are below the cloud, but we are also below the 55 and the 100 moving average. So we are to the negative side and negative sentiment. So it seems a little bit to the weaker side. The Nikkei future in this range here, it needs to close above 50,615 to re-establish the bullish trend. And RSI back above 60 threshold. If it does do that, well, then we have a bullish trend resuming. On the European markets, closed just a bit higher yesterday. Still in a positive sentiment, never closed below 40 threshold. So if it can close back above 60, well, then I think we'll see a new all-time highs on the EUROStoxx if that scenario plays out. So that's the key, and it still holds itself above this support here at 5,488. So still in a bullish scenario, although a little bit fragile, I would say. But we are above the cloud, we are above 55 moving average, likely to push higher. Pre-market, just basically unchanged, maybe a little bit higher. So I think we'll see it pushing higher here in the next few days. DAX index, on the other hand, has been trailing a little bit. It's the weaker index in Europe. Some of the other ones have been doing better, so DAX is still a little bit depressed here. We are below the cloud, we are below the moving averages. We are in a negative sentiment on the RSI, and we are actually basically in a bearish trend, but trying to recover. But it needs to get back above the cloud, so it needs to get back above the 100 moving average as a minimum, and it needs to get RSI back above 60 threshold. But maybe if some positive sentiment is coming into the market towards the year end, maybe it can be dragged higher, but really depressed at the moment. Unchanged pre-market, so let's see what it can do here the next few days. On the FX markets, we have euro dollar. Euro dollar still trying to, maybe we'll try to have a go at this resistance here at 116.55. If it takes it out, well, then there is room up to around 117 and a quarter, where we have some resistance. So that will be key here, I think, today and tomorrow, towards the end of the week. RSI trying to get back above 60 threshold. If it actually plays out, well, then suddenly we have a different situation. We have actually established, excuse me, established a bullish trend if it takes out and closes above this level here, 116.55. So that would be key towards here the next 24 hours, I believe. Sterling dollar, or as we called it in the old days, cable. Will it get up there again to the 133? Possibly even 133.70, 75, where we have a stronger resistance, but we have the 55 moving average coming down there. The 200's kind of also putting a lid on there, especially the 100 will also put a lid on there. And we have the RSI still negative and needs to close above 60 threshold to really establish and confirm a bullish trend. But we actually have a bullish trend, very short-term bullish correction build up here. We have this peak here above here and this higher than here, so we actually short-term established a bullish trend correction. So let's see if it can stay above there. However, if it does close below 131.60, then downtrend is likely to resume. Euro sterling bounced from the 55 moving average, still trying to push higher. Key will be 88.20. Can it take that out? Well, then bullish trend has resumed. Moving on to the yen pairs and dollar yen, still bounced from the 38.2 retracement there at 154.65 and support there at 154.80. I still believe we could see at high levels that the RSI is pointing to that, still positive and no divergence. You can see these peaks here are higher than here. So I think we'll see higher dollar yen pairs eventually, but it really needs to get its mojo back basically. And if it moves back above 156.65, then I think that scenario will play out. Euro yen. Also, it needs to take out 182, spot on there. It reached that about a week ago. It needs to take that out to push higher towards 184, 185. Support here at 179.55. Aussie yen. It is actually knocking on the peak here, and I think we will see it pushing higher, taking out that resistance there at 102.40. Then there's actually no resistance until about the peak up here at 109.37. Of course, there will be some corrections before then, but still, that's what it seems to be. A not strong resistance at least. So let's see what it can do until then. But it's bullish trend. It's just really needs to get up there, but you have the 60 threshold on the RSI. We are above that. We are above the falling trend line. So I think we will see it pushing higher there. We can actually draw a little bit of a trend line here, as we can see, just indicating that you can see we are there. It is actually forming maybe a little bit of a rising wedge-like pattern. So that could also be something to watch. Is it just pushing to this or forming this bit of a top and reversal pattern here a little bit, or exhaustion pattern? That would be key to watch here the next few days. But for now, I think we will see it pushing higher towards 103. Sterling yen still in the correction phase, needs to take out the 207.20 peak there. Still in a bullish trend, but it is a little bit stressed, however. And you can see that the RSI values have been declining, market moved higher. That's a sign of a trend exhaustion, but that doesn't mean that we can't move higher. We just need to take out the peak there. If it takes out the low there and just add a horizontal line, that one there at 205.19, well, then we are looking at 204 area to be reached. Aussie dollar pushing higher above the cloud, and now there is not blue skies, but almost towards 86.30. This resistance here, RSI back above 60 threshold. We are in a positive sentiment supporting this bullish move here, and I think we'll see it crawling higher here in the next few days, and then maybe we'll have a little bit of a setback when we get up there, because we have the 55 moving average still declining but starting to turn around. Also the 100 has turned around, so it will support this, so maybe a little bit of a setback, and then we will push higher here in the coming days and weeks. Unless it moves back below the falling trend line, below the cloud, then it seems like we have established a bullish trend. The dollar Canada that bounced strongly here from just above the 200 without any strong support. There was actually potential down to around 139, 138, 85 here, and the 100 moving average, but it bounced before then. RSI also bounced from the 40 threshold, so it could resume uptrend, but for now it's like there's a battle going on between all the moving averages, so maybe we will just trade sideways a little bit. There's no clear signal, and that's how it is sometimes. There's no clear signals for dollar Canada here on the short term. However, if it takes out the lows here from a couple of days ago, from Monday, well, 139.25, well, then we could see it pushing lower. So a little bit unsure what to read from this at the moment. Sterling Canada actually tried to establish a bullish trend, but it wasn't confirmed. Well, after it's knocked down here from the 50% threshold, 50% retracement of this this sell-off there, and from the 55 moving average, it needs to get back above that and back above the cloud to establish a bullish trend, and it needs to confirm it by RSI above 60 threshold. So maybe it will have another go here within the next few days to actually do that. If it takes out the to the downside, these lows here from the past few days at 184.25, well, then we could have the lows here being tested. On the Swiss franc, excuse me, on the Swiss franc, just hugging sideways there. It's like opening a little bit lower, then trade a little bit higher, then back, opening a little bit lower the next day. So it's like, can't really, do I want to go up there or do I want to go up there? But we are in a bullish trend, and we are in a positive sentiment. As long as we stay above 92.70, these lows here, then there's still room up to 93.85, maybe even up to 94. Dollar Swiss setting back. Here it didn't, it did bounce, but it wasn't that convincing, and now setting back again. So let's see if it takes out the lows there from Monday, that spike down there at 79.95. Well, then suddenly we could be looking at 79.60, the 61.8 retracement. So it's a little bit in a limbo, I would say. It has positive sentiment, but not that convincing. So it needs to take out, and I think if we are very short-term traders, then we're looking at 80.5, 80.55 to the upper side. If it pushes above that, then uptrend I think will resume. The dollar index sliding lower, key support here at 98.87. So keep an eye on that. But then we have the 55 coming up there, 55 moving average. So it is really there's some support there. We could dip below it, but if it does close below, well, but then we could see lower levels, and then we are looking certainly in the region around 98 down here, so all of a sudden. So a little bit of fragile, this bullish trend where you see higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. But if it takes out the low here, well, then it has demolished and reversed that picture. Moving on to the metals and the precious metals, we have gold that has trying to, and we often see that when it breaks out of a triangle-like pattern here, it breaks out of a triangle-like pattern to the upper side, then it turns around, testing the upper falling trend line from the upper side. It was very close to do that. Let's just put these numbers there to the right side so we can see what's actually going on. See, very close to do it, and then it's bounced a little bit. If it takes out the peak there from the 1st of December at 42.65, well, then I think it will challenge and push to the peak there at 43.81 and higher. 4,400 will be in cards, and maybe in 44.65. If it slides back below the rising trend line here, then we can suddenly have a different situation. But I don't think that will play out. Again, this is not an advice, but that's just how I try to read the market. We had silver spiking a little bit a little bit higher. Sorry about that. A little bit higher, and so I adjust my Fibonacci. Is it a top? I don't think it's a top. I think it will push higher, but I will keep it nevertheless, just in case. So I have these levels there. Unless it takes out the peak from today, then we're looking at 60 plus, and that would be a big move, I think, if it moves up there. And I think it will do that eventually, but I still believe we could see a little bit of a setback, a little bit of correction, and then the next move. So keep an eye on. I wouldn't, if it was me, I wouldn't still short right now. I'm not invested in silver, so but still I wouldn't do that. Platinum needs to get it back above 1734 or take out this to continue higher. So you can see there seems to be some strong resistance up there with this this shooting star-like pattern here. I think nevertheless it will push higher. Positive sentiment on the other side indicating that. Copper also in a bullish trend. If it takes out the peak up there from Monday, then there's room up to 561, which is the 786 retracement of this massive sell-off we saw here back in July. So slowly crawling higher. Positive sentiment is supporting that view. On the oil market, yeah, it couldn't hold up, so we are still in this bearish trend here, and I think we will see it lower here in the coming weeks. We can see all moving average declining, and it was just a correction, 50% correction of this the bearish trend here. So I think we'll see it pushing lower in the coming weeks. Brent Crude oil, same picture, obviously, pushing lower. I think it will do that and challenge the $60 level. EU nat gas, some strong support here around 28, 27.90, going back a couple of years. Could still slide lower. It is in a bearish trend, but I think we'll see a little bit of a bounce here the next few days. So what I will do, this is a clean trend we had there, so we could see a little bit of bounce, maybe up to 29.25, but the trend is a bearish, both short term and medium term. US nat gas, did it spike above $5? No, it didn't. 4.98 and a bit. So we can see here on the weekly it actually above these 490 level there, and we have to go quite far back to see where we are. We are in this area up here, so there is room higher, but $5 seems to be really a psychological level, so we could see a little bit of a setback maybe, but I wouldn't try to play the short game here, because I think we could if it takes out $5, maybe it could have kind of a catch-up effect, and then we'll just push higher very, very quickly. Moving on to the yields and the US Treasury yield, the spike up to the bounced up to the 61.8 retracement there at 410, and then knocked back a little bit. Still in a bearish trend, but I think in the overall picture we basically just for the past couple of months one big wide sideways range there, so no clear signal. Needs to get back above 420 or back below 4. And the 398 here to reestablish bearish trend. So a little bit not a clear picture, and not even on the weekly. Yes, we can say, well, we do have a bearish trend, but it didn't follow through taking out these lows here. So we have a little bit of a muddy picture, really, that it can't really explain what it wants to do. So let's move on to the other yields. We have the EU yields that is in a bullish trend, with potential up to 280. The UK just sideways here around 446. Either has to take out 437 or 461, and that's quite a wide range, really. So I think we will be humming away here around the 445, 455 for quite some time. Japanese pushing higher towards 2%. Positive sentiment supporting that view. Moving on to Bitcoin, very strong bounce. I don't know what happened there, but suddenly it's just bouncing there, and it didn't take out the low. So now it's actually trying to establish a very short-term bullish trend with a higher low there, and now a higher high, and I think we will see it up towards 97, 98,000. Ethereum, more or less the same picture, obviously. Could push up to 32.45, the 38.2 retracement here, unless it takes out the lows there, and then a downtrend is resuming. All right, that's all for today. Very quick and dirty, almost saying that. So have a nice day and happy charting, and be careful out there.